Hello. How are you? Been a while. You doing all right?
Actually, that's probably not the question you asked.
And not yet. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
All right, thanks everyone. We'll start with an opening statement from head coach Josh Wolff.
A lot of credit goes to LAFC. Obviously, they did a fantastic job making it difficult on us today. There's no, it's quite clear why they are the Supporters Shield. They've been, as I've said, the best team the entire year, and this was another example of that. We've been on the other side of games like this where we can put teams under pressure and build momentum and smother them, and that's exactly what they did today. They didn't give us a chance to breathe. They didn't allow us to build up. They were putting us under pressure, and in that it caused our group a little bit of insecurities. But they're a good team and with loads of talent and in an extremely good position to win MLS Cup. So we wish them the best of luck, and obviously congratulations to them. But aside from the game, there's so much to be proud of as an organization with Austin FC, our ownership, certainly our players and staff. The families, everybody that's suffered and sacrificed time, and certainly the commitment to bring what this game is about and to get into positions like this where you can play for Western Conference Championship. Much appreciation to our owners, our fans, and the players. They did a fantastic job this year. As disappointing as today is, there's just so much pride in what we've been able to establish and build in 2 years, and those are things that we'll take home with us today. I told these guys it's a difficult moment, but take the time in the next 24 hours, 48 hours to really understand what has happened this year, the development, the growth, the camaraderie, the relationships that we've built, and we're going to need to keep building on that for next year. So to maintain a high head and obviously look forward to next year. But it's just disappointing to swallow today, but I think it's a just result certainly. So.
We'll start with Chris and then go to Kirk Bowles. Chris.
Josh, was there anything about the way LAFC attacked the first two guys that was different than what you expected?
Not really. They were just very relentless. It's a physical midfield too. They weren't giving our center backs time on the ball. Their center mids were jumping quickly. They released their fullbacks at times. So if you get into 1v1s around the field, there aren't many duels that we're going to win in a 1v1. So they came full throttle. If you can break that pressure and cause some insecurities for them, it may cause them to second guess that. But they were coming, and it made it challenging. We tried to utilize Musa. Chiellini won about every duel with him, so from that standpoint, it was challenging. We talk about going around them and over them when it is this way, but it was tough to get a footing. They weren't going to let us get into their half and set up shop. I think that was quite clear with how they were pressing, and it became challenging. And when you don't have the ball and you're up against that team, they can put you under pressure. And the set pieces wore us down. A very similar mentality that we have when we're at home. We were on the other side of it today, so give them credit, but we'll learn from it. Not our best day, certainly with the ball, and they make it challenging in a lot of ways when you don't have the ball.
And what were you looking for from him?
Well, I think he has a good individual quality. That's one of the duels that you hope that you can get him some balls, or you can get him behind the line where you can get isolated with Palacios. But, player for player, they're a good group. Palacios made it really challenging on him going the other direction. So it starts to have an effect on you. Musa, the same. He's got two center backs to deal with. Can he come down into pockets at times to be an outlet? But, it was challenging. We lost some balls. The field was difficult in some spots as well. So give them credit. They put us under immense pressure, and when you get a goal, it builds momentum, and we were able to weather that in the first half and come in 1-0 with a little bit of a shot in the second half. But a couple times we tried to go to 4+1, ask a different question, but it was challenging. They were quite good and obviously strong on the day physically.
Kirk.
Yeah, Josh, you got outplayed in the first half, but you're down 1-0.
Yeah.
What'd you tell the team and what you feel like you could adjust?
Yeah, I think the first thing was the connections, the spacing, the positioning in the first half was not great. When you lose a few balls, there's a little bit of insecurity in some of the positioning and the movements. Sebo was having a difficult time finding the game, but we knew they would certainly try to minimize his influence. But that's where I think certainly Musa can come down a little bit further, a little bit earlier. Along the way, you still have to stretch their back line. We played very few realistic balls to get behind their line with Emiliano and Diego. So it was challenging. They made it combative. It was a struggle from that standpoint. We didn't break through the pressure terribly often, but you got to find moments to play around them, over them, and also be in better positions with the ball and a little bit more calm. They turned us over in the middle, and it certainly unsettled us and our ability to play through their pressure. Well, I think it's part of the game. It's crowded in there. It's congested. It becomes combative. They win a couple balls that lead to maybe half chances or corners, and guys can feel that. It's whether it's confidence or they're a little bit more reluctant to make those types of plays and show in those positions. But it's what LAFC is. They're very good against the ball. They transition quite well. So they made it tough.
You go when you're on that kind of summarize the day.
Yeah, challenging. I don't think Maxi necessarily sees it the whole way. So, unfortunate. They had other chances. So, to go 2-0 was troubling for us. Almost got a lifeline with the penalty. I haven't seen if it was or wasn't, but that could have given us a sniff and certainly some momentum. But give them credit. They were the better team today. They deserve it, and we wish them luck in the final.
Thanks. We'll go Jorge, Corey, Brian, and then we'll come up here.
Hi, Josh. Just a quick question. What do you think about the difference between the last two games, Austin FC's last two games, and this game?
Well, the first one, or the last one, the previous one to this one was at home. And like I said, we're at home. We have a tempo and an urgency that certainly the crowd, the field has a quickness to it. We had a little different structure with it when we played against them, and again, we got on the right side of it early. We got a lead. We put them under a lot of pressure. So, look very reminiscent of what they did here today. So, it's two teams that want to get control of the game in different ways, and today they were able to do it. The first time here, again, we struck first. First goals are important, and they can certainly unsettle the opponent. They can bring one team into the game a little more than the other. So, I think that was evident again today. That's an experienced team loaded with tons of internationals, high quality. We've made some great additions this year. It's a good squad. We need to make it better and certainly evolve as a group with our tactics, but also with the roster construction. So really proud of the group. This is a difficult night, but there's so many positives. Again, like I said, this group, this franchise, these fans should be certainly proud and ecstatic with what the group's achieved, even though we fell short a little bit.
You guys have been able to sort of flip the script in the second half a lot of the time, and today that seemed really tough. It seemed like they were really neutralizing Driussi. You couldn't get that spark. For you watching that, coming back into the second half, was there a switch in game plans that you were looking for that didn't come to fruition? Or
Yeah, I think you wanted, at those moments, you want Sebastian, he has the freedom to move down. He can move wider or lower as needed. If Illy wants to follow him, that makes a little bit more space between lines. So we talked about that at halftime. We moved to having one center mid. We brought Alex back there central on his own, put 2 10s in the pockets, still ask our striker to come down when he can. But, they are strong in the middle, so it's a little bit of a razor's edge when you want to play in the middle at times, but we still have to play behind the line. I don't think we did a great job with speed of circulation, the intent to play behind. And again, the dueling is going to be challenging for us. But if we could have nicked a goal, maybe swung momentum in our way, give us a little bit more belief going into the second half, we could have made a game of it a little bit more, but challenging.
one more quick one. I'm going off memory here, but I think the last loss was on the road at Colorado. So, just playing away from home, missing home, the support section, it's tough. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, the home support is a big part of success in this league at times. You can see what their fans do for them. They've done it for us all year. Certainly our supporter sections have been fantastic. They travel in great force and great voice today. We would have loved to bring them a better result, but they've been there from the start for us in 2 years. They've been so emotionally attached to this group. We have nothing but love and appreciation for everything they've done. We'll continue to get better as an organization. We'll make this team better going into next year, and we'll look to perform similar to this year with hopefully bigger results in the long run.
Thanks.
Josh, first off, thank you. When you look at LAFC, what are the things you most admire about them? And looking ahead to the final against either Philadelphia or NYC, what kind of matchups do you see?
Yeah, I think their physicality is quite impressive. Their depth is quite impressive. John Thornton's built a team over 4 or 5 years that's got talent, depth, domestic talent, international talent, and obviously you have to try to keep all those good players committed and certainly bought into what you're doing. So they've done a great job. I think that's, to me, is one of the biggest things that sets them apart. They can almost field 2 11s. They are that good. And today they pushed us and challenged us. Whoever the game in the final, it's going to be a difficult game. Here at LAFC is challenging as our most away games, but you can see and you can feel why it's they don't lose many here. And we were fortunate to do that once this year. You could see they came out with a real intent and purpose and commitment to their game and strategy, and we were not able to get through that. But we'll learn and try to be better next year.
Hey, Josh, over here on this side. You kind of just alluded to it a little bit, but obviously you know Steve Cherundolo pretty well. You talked about how much of a talented team that is, but could you just speak about his success in this first year coaching here in MLS and how he's been able to get to this point with that team?
Yeah, I think it's a very good team to start with. You don't always come in as a first-year coach and oftentimes as a first-year coach, you're inheriting a team that missed playoffs or there's a coaching change for different reasons. But he's inherited a very strong team that was one of the best in the league over the past 5 years. So what he's been able to do, and John Thorrington is bring in more domestic talent, help build out their locker room. You can certainly see the commitment of that group today. And like I said, managing players is a big part of it. They have so many talented players and internationals, and that becomes part of the process of how you keep these guys in a good space to perform. But it was a fantastic player. He's a very humble, great human being, and I think that's part of it as well. And I know John Thorrington and Ante Razov and some of their staff. So these are good people. They treat the guys well, and that's a big part of it. But I think they have exceptional talent inside the group, great depth, and they certainly utilize that today.
Any other questions for Coach Wolff? All right, for Austin traveling media who's interested in speaking with players, please follow